Okay, so it's time to choose our template for making our unit plans in our Capstone project. So here I am on the Program Resource Center, and I just want to remind you how to find the planner templates. We looked at these in course 1. So on the Program Resource Center, I'm going to go to the Diploma Program area and click View All Resources. And I'm looking for the Approaches to Teaching and Learning in the DP website. And when we open this, we'll find the tools, and the unit planners are listed under the tools. Just a reminder, the IB does not prescribe any particular format for unit planning. They don't require schools to do unit planning in this way. However, designing a really successful diploma unit plan can be a complex project, and making sure that we're really hitting those values of the diploma program and not just delivering content. It's helpful to have a scaffolded tool that is reminding us and prompting our thinking to really consider all of the elements that are necessary to a successful diploma program. And that's where these templates come in. So we are going to ask you to choose one of them and to work within one of these recognized formats. So let's take a look. There are 3 different styles, and I can show you some of the similarities and differences between them. I'm going to, just for the purposes of a shortcut, describe planner number 1 as a basic planner. It has all of the diploma program requirements or elements included in it. Style 2 is called MYP aligned, and it has some additional features. It has all the features of planner 1. It has some additional features that prompt your thinking to be a little more inquiry oriented. And then Planner Style 3 has all of the features of Planner 1 and all of the features in Planner 2, and some additional features that prompt you to be a little more conceptually based versus content based. So let's take a look at some of the, at what they actually look like. So I've got them already open down here. So here's Planner Style 1. And what they all have in common is this first page, this inquiry. If you remember the inquiry cycle, inquiry, action, reflection. In this inquiry stage, we're looking at, who's involved in the unit, what is the subject group and the specific course, what's the course part from the syllabus and the topic. Is this a year 1 or a year 2? Is this higher level or standard level? When are we planning to teach this? So particularly if you're thinking this is for version A of the Capstone, the practical application, then actually think about when are the dates that you're going to engage with students on this unit. Then here's a little box where you're going to describe what this unit is about. And then what are the assessments? You can list what are the DP style assessments that are going to happen here in the unit. And then you're going to take a look at transfer goals. So a way of thinking about the transfer goals, and it's got it defined here, list 1 to 3 big overarching long-term goals for this unit. And think about this as what is this about? Like, what are the big ideas at the end of the game? What do you really want students to be able to do with this newly acquired knowledge and skills in a way that is not, that they can do independently without a lot of scaffolding from the teacher? So you could be describing some elements of assessment, but more likely you're describing some really big ideas. If you think backward design elements, which I'm sure you've been exposed to through courses or in practicums in the past, looking at the ideas of understanding by design. What are the big ideas? Then we're going to get into the action part, which is the how are we actually teaching this? So what's the content? And if you think about content, one of the things to think about is, do I also have local requirements in addition to the diploma program requirements? Do I have local requirements that I'm marrying to the diploma program? So for actually all of you, I think, are based in Toronto, you may be considering the Ontario curriculum as a local requirement. This would be an area to include reference to that local requirement. What are the skills we want to develop, and what are the concepts that kind of take this unit out of the content, and what are the bigger ideas there conceptually? How are we doing it in terms of learning process? Some examples here with tick boxes, and then a place for you to add if there are other types of teaching strategies that you are going to be including. What is formative assessment going to look like? And then here's a box to describe the summative assessment. So this is where you can put a little more detail into the variations. Remember, you're planning a sufficient number of tasks in order to appropriately evaluate or assess each of the criteria for this subject group. So you're going to describe all of that here. Differentiation, again, can be described here. Approaches to learning, which ones are relevant, and then give the details. How are you teaching those? And you can link to a guide to the approaches to learning here if you need a reminder on that. Likewise, some of the big connecting ideas around language and learning, theory of knowledge, and CAS. What are the resources? And put all of the details there for the resources, bibliographic references, small descriptions of what the resource is actually about. And then reflection. So what worked well, what didn't work well, and things that you would change in the future. Now, some of this may be helpful to wait until you've discussed with your mentor and make this part of the part C of the capstone, where you're going to be reflecting, particularly around the actual unit, either in an application style, you taught it with students, or in that interview style with your mentor. So that's Planner Style 1. It is the basic planner. Planner Style 2 is labeled as MYP aligned. I think of it as an inquiry aligned planner because although it has all of the same elements at the beginning, it also includes this area here. What are the essential understandings and how are we thinking about those in terms of questions? So what are some content-based questions that will drive inquiry in this unit? What are some skills-based questions? What are some content-based questions? And that's the main difference with this planner to the planner style number 1. And you can see as we skim through, those same other areas are listed. The other thing here is that's different in planner style 2 is the transfer goals are brought back. So literally copy and paste them from the place where you discussed them at the beginning. And then it is a reflection on transfer. So how do you know that students got those big ideas? How do you know that they were able to transfer? What's the evidence? What worked? What didn't work? So it kind of is spelling that out quite explicitly. You may have in planner style 1 dealt with that here in the general reflection area. But in this planner, they're pulling it out because with the recognition that we're in this method of thinking, we're thinking about what are those bigger ideas and how do we know. And then finally, planner style 3. Planner style 3 is this one. I think of it as conceptually aligned. Again, it has the same elements at the beginning, the transfer goals. It has the essential understandings in the same way that Planner Style 2 does. And this is an area that is new in Planner Style 3. What are the likely misunderstandings or missed concepts? You've taught this content before, you've taught this age group before, maybe you've taught this group of students before. What are some of the things that in relation to skills, content, and concepts are likely to hang them up? And how are you going to overcome that or plan for the dealing with that proactively? Again, like Planner Style 2, organizing the unit in terms of inquiry questions, and then you get the same elements as the other 2 planners. This is another area here thinking about metacognition. Where are we introducing explicitly the idea of reflection? And then some of the other connections, reflection, and again, I like Planner Style 2, the reflection on the transfer goals. So 3 choices, any choice is fine. What I would like you to do is discuss with your mentor which variation you think is going to work best for you and your mentor to support you in developing this unit. Thanks.